Hello, thank you for tuning into the new stream that I've started. Today we're going to start again with the Planet Zoo stream. I haven't done one of these in quite a long time. Last one we created the Ginger Place Zoo. Now I have created a new zoo for this series. There is some new elements of the zoo that will be covered in the video. Be sure to check out the new website. I wouldn't say it's the best quality website I've ever made. I'm not that good at doing stuff like that, but be sure to check it out. I'm posting on the blog there frequently, maybe Mondays, Fridays, that sort of time. Be sure to check it out. Okay, so this is the Planet Zoo Ginger Play Zoo. This is a completely new zoo which I've created for the Planet Zoo on the Planet Zoo game. We've got a brand new sign made with some nice lettering, which I think is quite nice, and we've got a wonderful area to work with. It may look green at the moment. It's not green. It's actually in the South American grasslands. So, speaking of South America, the new pack has arrived, and that's partly why I made this before. Because I have decided to download the Planet Zoo pack. So I just wanted to show you what sort of content can be shown inside of Planet Zoo's new pack. So first of all is probably the biggest animal in the new pack is the jaguar. Must say it's quite an interesting animal. Comes with a lot of new things like not the scratching post. It comes with these wonderful little nature scenes My favourite of which is the treehouse. Comes with new shelters. I decided to use this shelter, which is the temple shelter, not because of the size, but purely because of the actual scenic aspects of it. Another thing that comes inside of this pack is the capuchin monkey. Now, the capuchin monkey is honestly one of the cutest monkeys you'll ever see in a zoo. Quite an interesting animal, although they do get incredibly loud. And you can hear them pretty much all the way across the zoo. So they are quite good with walk-throughs. So if you want to have the public walking in through a guest gate through your zoo, they're quite good for that because they tend not to get stressed like lemurs would, which is a surprise. The babies, I'd say, are a little disappointing with them. They're basically just smaller versions of the adults. A little disappointing, but I suppose it's that way in the wild. The boonie and orangutan was obviously here way before, but I just thought it's a kind of South American animal, and I'd say that this probably found in some places in South America. The Google says it's not, but I'm sure there's some form of orangutan in South America. They're a South American style animal. The other animal included in the pack is the giant anteater. Now it comes with these really cool termite mounds, which are really quite cool, and they use them as feeding stations. The giant anteater, if I move it to daytime so it's a little easier to see, that's right, little easier to see, they have long, lovely noses, surprisingly large claws, and they're just brilliant animals to have in your zoo. They're big crowd bringers, and they have brilliant appeal. Other animal is the tree frog. Now the tree frog, if I can find it, it's in here somewhere. It isn't something you have to put it inside of a exhibit, as I have it. I'll find it. Now the tree frog in the exhibit is, oh god, that has children, goodness. Now one of the things I do like about this is the names in the Planet Zoo, franchise. In the Planet Zoo, the names of these animals are quite interesting. Antonio is never a name I've ever seen on any frogs in the world I've ever seen. One of my monkeys is called Francisco, and I really like that name. It's a brilliant name. Can't find him. Oh no, here we are. Oh god, where's he gone? Here we go. This is Antonio the red-eyed tree frog. So they're quite cool animals. Amphibians are probably one of the most stunning creatures on the planet, so they're quite good for your zoo. It's a nice hairstyle there. Throughout the video, you'd notice that in this corner there's the viewer count. Now that will be telling you how many people are actually watching this video, other than yourself, and it's a great way of finding out who is watching the video at the moment. Another thing that I like that they've taken out of the game with the new update that it's had is that animal fighting is no longer something that will pop up on here, because I hate having reminders other than the guests complaining that it's too cheap. But the anteaters fight. Now usually it's male to male fighting. In this case, it's not. They're just fighting for the sake of it. I don't know whether they're fighting. I'm not a zoologist. I don't know how that works. But yeah, they're fighting. I've also used my initiative and decided not to take something off the Steam Workshop, as I occasionally do. And I've created a nice South American restaurant with some South American music, which I think is quite nice for that. It's very interesting music, which is very nice. I've also placed that music around in the South American part of the zoo. That's on a playlist, not just playing individual songs. I've also learnt a trick that solar panels don't produce negativity, if I should put it that way. Now, there's one animal that I haven't yet put down in this South American part, and that is the llama. I've saved it for this stream, which I've been preparing for several days, and we are going to put it right over here. So the llama is arguably the most fancy animal that comes with this pack. They're very different animals, if I do say so myself. And although I've been saving this, I was just using this for other stuff, I've just realised that I don't actually have space to put it anywhere else. So we're going to place the llama enclosure. I don't know. I think I'm going to place it on this side by the anteaters because I've got more space to work with and I can expand it should I see fit. With the llamas, they tend to have a way about them because the photo for it is quite different. It's a very derpy sort of look about them, so that is quite fun. So what I might use is the mesh, as I've noticed that there's one YouTuber, he's called Paulsley, quite a good YouTuber, and he does very good tutorials, and when this new pack came out, he decided to create, he's very good with structural building, and he created effectively a llama petting zoo, which I think was really, really cool. So I'm going to do my best to do something similar, but with a much less spectacular aspect in mind, as he does have the Arctic DLC, which I do not, unfortunately. As I am not a billionaire. Obviously he isn't either, but money isn't exactly on my side. So, this llama enclosure, I think what we might do is we'll put something else over here. Maybe, something that can live almost anywhere. I'm not sure what that will be. Oh god, this is really small. I'm gonna make this a bit bigger now. I don't feel pleased with that. Oh god, I need to contracept the tree frogs in a second because they're breeding like hell. Okay, so that should be that. Okay, remove that. And that is currently going. Suppress it. Oh, there's just something playing on my phone. I realise that the phone is also a source of noise. Sorry if that had a bit of feedback, that might be a bit weird. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to I'm gonna make the habitat as enriching as possible. I think I might use that as my shelter for it. I think that's quite a nice shelter. It's the theme. Fits it quite nicely. I think that should be the llama. Yeah, here we are. I can filter everything to just be the llama stuff. I'm gonna put the food trough in here and the water, because otherwise they'll starve and potentially dehydrate very, very quickly. Gonna put large leaves as they're a large animal. The derpy look on their face once you buy them is the most rewarding thing you can ever ask of an animal. It's an absolutely most really rewarding thing. A derpy look on a llama's face. Very rewarding. I've noticed that Planet Zoo has taken some publicity at the moment, and like before it was one of those games that had just come out and people were like, oh, that's a weird game, why would I want to play that? But now it's like everybody's playing it, and it's really actually quite surprising. Like you search up the word planet and Planet Zoo comes straight up. Not sure if that is directly true, but I'm fairly sure it's close to the truth. So I've also noticed that there's new things on pretty much every aspect of the game now. With the South America pack, it's got new lighting, new tables, and someone has vandalised my stuff. Where is the vandalised object? Oh, what other than this? The one that gets vandalised every time. Just need to fix that. That's all I can do. Back to the llamas. So I believe we've got everything covered in there. So no, don't go in there. I'll go in here. Now we need to buy some llamas. Simple process of buying a llama and it magically appearing in a box in your zoo. Done and done. Couldn't be any more simple. Then I remember when I first got the game, I had no clue what to do, and I was just like, what on earth am I doing in this game? I couldn't play the game. Oh my god, I did not know they had cubs. That is the cutest thing I've ever seen in this game. Well, they're hungry, so I'm going to call them a keeper and to see if the keeper can feed them. It's knowing the keepers, they probably won't. But anyway, I'll fire him if he doesn't. That's a great solution to everything. Fire your staff if they don't do what you ask of them. Obviously it's not, because they won't be with you and they could have provided you with some really good tips. See if the frog's moved. Frog has moved. I'm going to contracept every single one of them, because I've got too many of them. Exhibit animals breed way too quickly. Look at all them. Let's contracept a lot of them. Captive birth, captive birth, captive birth, captive birth, captive birth. There we go. They've all been contracepted. And another thing is that you can look at the genetic lines of things. Oh my god. It's like a mini version of them. That's amazing. Anyway, you can actually look at the genetic lines, so you can see who the mother. Oh, don't walk in between that. You can see who the mothers and fathers are, parents, Daniel and Katerina. Oh yeah, of course I've got to add this to my work zone, haven't I? So another thing that is annoying is that when they're not in the work zone, you've got to add them to the work zone. There we go. That is now part of that work zone. Helpful. The derpy face on these llamas is just amazing, and the baby llamas are just amazing. But they're crowd pleasers, and that's the best thing. That is the best thing about them. What else can we find in this that can live anywhere? Greater flamingos? Do they live in the South America? No, they don't live in the South America. Iguanas do. That's something that is just wonderful to know. Lemurs only live in Madagascar. Birds. Octopi? I'm going to put octopi in them because they're slightly tropical animals, I suppose. And I've never put them in a zoo before, actually, come to think of it. There's a first for everything. Lovely. There we go, that was pretty simple. One thing that I would recommend, if you are planning on getting this game, buy a mouse. If you don't have a computer mouse, you cannot play the game. And that's basically the end. I discovered that I didn't have a computer mouse when I first bought the game. I was just thinking I could use my built-in computer mouse. I can't. It won't work. Which is a bit of an issue. Habitat cleanliness is a disease risk at termite towers. Okay, I'll call the keeper over so that he can tidy everything up. There we go, let's get the okapi in there and no, we need to deck out the enclosure first. Lovely. See what they need. I mean, they might use that. Oh, that was a lucky guess that didn't go well. Okapi, not okapi. Hanging barrel. I'm already receiving warning signals that I haven't given them a big enough enclosure. Red flags flying. But one of these in. Yeah, one of them should be enough to house a hot. Occupy. Medium leaves. I do wish they'd move meerkats into the game. That would be a brilliant animal to put in. as meerkats are some very interesting animals which are brilliant crowd pleasers. Brilliant crowd pleasers. Sprinkler in there, and a water pipe so that they do not die of dehydration. Unfortunately, one of my capuchins died of dehydration, despite the